Okay, so we'll begin this by talking about function notation. That's what this video is on. All right, so function notation is pretty straightforward. What's happening is you're taking some things, and I'm just going to give you a quick drawing here. You have some things that are coming into a function, and then you have some things that are coming out of a function. Now the thing is, we need a letter to represent the function. We need to represent, instead of writing out function like F-U-N-C-T-I-O-N, we're just going to write the letter F. So the function is going to be called just F, okay? And then we need to put stuff into it. So inside the parentheses is what's going to be put into it. We're going to put in what? What do we usually put into things? X, right? So this is how we represent a function by f of x, okay? And let's say this function takes every number and it just adds 5 to it. So the function, every time, the rule is basically it takes the x and it adds 5, okay? Well, what's going to happen is we're going to have the domain. Remember we talked about domain before. We're going to have a bunch of numbers to put in. So let's say we have a couple different numbers. We have, like, let's say 3, 2, and 9, and we put those in. Well, what are they going to come out as? If we take the 3 and we put it into the function, what does the function machine, the conveyor belt, what does that machine do to it? It adds what to it? It takes the x and does what? Adds 5? So we're going to take 3 and add 5 to it, and that's going to come out as 8. So basically what's happening is 3 is going into this, 3 is being added by 5, and then it's coming out as 8. Do you see what's happened? Conveyor belt goes in, conveyor belt comes out. That's how the function machine works. It crunches the numbers and changes them usually. So that's what we have for the first one. Now we have to take 2. So 2 is going to go into the function, okay? It's going to be going in as x, so 2 plus 5, and then that answer goes up here, which is 7. Perfect. That's what a function does. Anytime you see that, that's what you have to do. So I'm going to ask you now what's going to happen with the 9. What's going to happen with the 9? Yeah, you're just going to simply add 5 to it. So we know that if we take that and add 5 to it, we have 14. Okay? And that's what a function does. It takes an input from the domain, it crunches it, and it comes out as a different number. Remember, this is what a function is. Our Pepsi machine takes our dollar bill, it eats it, and it keeps it, and then it spits out a Pepsi, right? That's what a function does. So let's look at this function, and let's talk about a couple of things. They want to evaluate this function when x is equal to 2. So what I want to do is I want to replace the x's in this with 2. So watch closely. This is where it gets a little tricky. This is the hardest part of the lesson, I think. I'm going to replace those x's with 2. Okay, I'm going to rewrite f of, and I'm going to write the -4, and I'm going to have the multiply, and I'm going to have the add 7. Do you see how everything else is there? Now I'm going to put 2 for x here and here. Does everyone see what I've done? That's important. Now, the left side of the equation, forget about it. Don't worry about it. That's just how we name it. We say the function when x is 2. That's why we're here. We're saying the function when x is 2. That's what that means. Okay, that's called f of 2. Can you say f of 2? F of 2. Very good. Perfect. So that's the function when x is 2. But we can ignore it. We can straight up ignore it. So all we're going to do is work on this side. So can you guys just tell me what the work is over there? -8 plus 7, which is -1. Right? Now listen to me. I know it's a very common misconception for people to want to divide by 2 here, but do nothing on the left side. Do nothing on the left side. Don't do anything. Your answer is this. The function when you plug in 2 comes out as -1. What does the function do when you plug in -2? Now we got to rewrite the function, so do the same thing. So we're going to repeat the process. F of, what are we going to put inside the parentheses there? Yeah, so we're going to put -2 inside of the parentheses and also on the right side of the equation as well. So here's the -2. It's going to go here. It's going to go here. Whoops. And now, do we pay attention to the left side at all? No, we don't pay attention to the left side at all. All we pay attention to is the right side. So I'm going to focus on this right side, and I'm going to ask you what math is happening over here. -2 times -4 is +8 plus 7. Well, +8 plus 7 is 15. So we're done. We know the function when we plug in 2 comes out as 15. So all we do is we carry down that notation, f of -2. f of -2 equals 15. So I want you to say that. F of -2 equals 15. Say it. F of -2 equals 15. Good. That's how you say this, and that's how you are going to work with it. Do not divide by -2. Do not divide by -2. It's not multiplication. It's just a way of representing something. There's no math happening on the left. Have I been clear about that? Okay. Now imagine instead of just having a Pepsi machine, you have a Pepsi machine and a Coke machine, and you have a Fritos machine, okay? And you have like a water, an Aquafina machine, okay? And you have one of those machines that spits out the hot coffees and hot chocolates, okay? Now you have all sorts of machines to deal with, correct? Should we call all of these machines F for function or no? No, we have to call one F, and what's the next letter in the alphabet? Why don't we just use that? G. And what's the letter after that? H. So we're going to use different letters to represent different functions. F of x, G of x, H of x, depending on what's going on. Yes?
Is the circle in red the answer?
Yeah, the answer is actually that whole thing. And there's actually two answers because there was two questions here. They said two different things. See how it's an and? So those are our two answers, okay? Sorry about this, but I've got to scroll on. Okay. Here we go. F of t is the outside temperature t hours after 6 a.m. Explain the meaning of each statement. So I want to kind of look at this just for a second, and I want to kind of look at what's going on here, okay? So I'm going to change this number here to 72 just so you can have an idea of what I'm talking about, and I'm not going to worry about that right now, okay? So what the heck does this mean? The function f of 0 equals 58. What does that mean in the context of this word problem? So t is the number of hours since 6 a.m. So how many hours has it been since 6 a.m. according to what I circled in green? How many hours has it been since 6 a.m.? What's that? It's been 0 hours, hasn't it? T hours, but it's been 0. This is t. So it's been 0 hours since 6 a.m. So at what time is it right now? It's at 6 a.m. The what? What is the function about? The temperature. At 6 a.m. the temperature was? Okay, that's it. That's all we need to know. The temp was 58 degrees. That's it. Okay, so now tell me what this means. I've changed a number on it. Be aware that I've changed a number on it. So at what time? So this is the number of hours since 6 a.m. So how many hours since 6 a.m. has it been? 6 hours after 6 a.m. What time is it? At noon. It's 12 o'clock noon. At 12 noon, the temperature, exactly, 72 degrees, is 72 degrees. That's all this is. But I don't want to write this whole entire sentence in green and in blue, so I just use this circled in green. You see the circle in green? That's what that represents. So this is English. This is normal English of saying this. So here is the math way of saying it, okay? And here's the English way of saying it. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Mathematically, we're saying the same thing as we would in English. Does that make some sense? Not super easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but it should make some sense. So I want you to take a second and try these problems, okay? So pause the video, give these a shot. You're trying to evaluate the function when these values are here. So basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to find f of, I guess in this case, you're trying to find f of -4. So you want to find f of -4 equals. And in this case, it's going to be 2 times whatever that is minus 5. And 2 times whatever that is, well, what is that? It's -4, right? So try to do that. You're trying to do that for 3 different choices. I want you to try number 1, okay, on your own right now. So now you try number 1, pause the video, and I will see you in a second. Okay, remember that I've strongly encouraged you to try this on your own, but I do want to give some answers just so you can know if you got it. So basically, when x is those values, so like when x is -4, what does f of x come out as? Well, when it is -4, I think f of x comes out as -13. When you plug in 0, you get -5 for f of x. And when you plug in 3, I think you get just 1 for f of x. So you should have gotten 3 answers. Hopefully those 3 answers were -13, -5, and 1. Now, I want to talk about this again here, just for a second. And it's a pretty straightforward question. I just want you to try one more here,
Sorry
okay?
for the interruption, but could the